Hello, this is Daphne Garrido. Welcome to Of Darkness and Light. I want to talk about New Age spirituality and the innate sex essentialism, gender essentialism on top of that. I was a burgeoning meditation instructor that people loved. People were godifying me. People were trying to make me a cult leader. And every single time I ever saw anybody who was one of the wannabe cult members, a lot of them, almost all of them, that's why, every single one of them, beautiful hearts. And I saw that. And I saw that they were putting me on a pedestal. And that's why it became this feedback loop, because every single meditation I led, every group meditation I led, every time I connected with people, it was about telling them they were the ones who were important, because I was getting even more out of it, because that's true. I was sitting there feeling grateful for having people sitting around me, listening to me. And I was like, this is a container of love that we're building here. And it's about every person equally. And I'm honoring you. Thank you for honoring me, but I'm honoring you. And that energy pushed people to have expectations. And then I got a harsh reflection when I kept following my creative path of spirituality away from the safe space it started in and into something more true. And especially when I told everyone I was a trans woman and that I am transitioning. These people who I'd given the most heartfelt space to, all except for like one person who is one of my best living friends. And they are a beautiful mother, biggest heart. They had nothing but understanding about my transness. And when there were preconceptions that were being worked through in my presence, they were doing that. And they weren't projecting it back at me with awkwardness. It was admiration. It was beautiful. And that person still holds coded trans misogyny. Almost everyone does. Even most trans women. One time, I was outside with a friend when I was young, and I saw a light in the sky with him, and we had been watching all these YouTube videos about a lady in Pennsylvania who was really crazy about it. But if you watched like 20 of her videos and you got past how bad they were made, and then you followed her like path of like buying more equipment and trying to prove it, like, dude, there's lights coming out of the forest and they're glowing up. But she had these bad theories about, like, she was obviously looking at some planes too, but like some of the shit, it's just like, and it's such an authentic, real person. You're like, they're not lying, dude. They're just wrong about a bunch of it, but like something weird is happening, dude. And it is truly bizarre, some of the stuff that they captured. But it all got like taken down off of YouTube. They had mega conspiracy theories about being like hacked by the Air Force. That's the thing, is there's an airbase nearby, and that's why it's so bad and why it's so hard, because it's like, dude, your brain cannot accept that airbase is not just the source of the lights, because she's so convinced that these lights are coming up out of the sky, blooming, and then like manifesting fake plane blinking lights and going. And you're just like, dude, it looks like, are they taking off right towards you and then turning? And that's the thing, is like, I never once believed any of that stuff. But there were other things that didn't make sense, dude. I was just like, what the fuck? They were getting under it. It was just like hunting shit in the woods, dude. And it was like, dude, it was really hardcore. But it got me and my friend looking at the sky, and we saw what was almost assuredly a plane one night, and like chased it in our car being dumbasses. And then we stayed up really late playing, like, I think we were playing Red Dead Redemption. I think we both had our PlayStation 3s set up, and we were playing them like nerds until like 4 a.m. Literally. I was unemployed at the time, and I was about to get a job where they worked, but it was like the weekend or something. And we walked outside, and because what do video gamers at 4 a.m. do, who are going for one more round apparently. It might have been the Mass Effect 2 era, I'm not sure. That kind of feels right. But because I was always just waiting. I didn't have an Xbox 360 when that came out, and so I was always waiting for him to go to sleep or go to work so I could play Mass Effect 2. But yeah, there was something that was not playing at all right above us when we walked out at 4 a.m, and it was silent, and it was slow, and it was the whitest, brightest orb ever. And I like ran out into the street, and it was like, I was like, the change of perspective from where I was standing to where I went in the middle of the street, it was like, it was so proven to my mind beyond belief. Like, that thing is close and low and small, and it's not a big plane way up there or something, because I was like getting under it, and it just like was like bicycle speed, just like float. And I was like, and I have seen that 4 times in meditation groups with people, and we've seen a lot of satellites and a lot of confusing things that look kind of like satellites that are extra bright, and you shine a little laser pointer at them, and then they stop, or they just get, or they disappear right then, or they do weird zigzaggies. It's like where they start shooting over the top. But it's just like, there is something real going on with there being more than we understand, bottom line. And so that sent me on a spiritual path, and sent me to hold community with groups of people that were doing the like CE5 thing, even though the whole time I was like, I don't think they're aliens from another universe, dude. I think that that's a story. I think that these things are from here, and that we've got spirit here with us. And we have people in the group that take those orb photos, which everybody's just like, that's dust, dude. And there's definitely dust. But they got some stuff that's not dust, dude. Like 3 shots in a row, one of them has this giant mist cloud that looks like a dude with a staff, right? Like, and like we're doing a meditation, and all of a sudden the pictures have like 40 orbs, and it's like, and then like they gave me a night vision video goggle thing, and I was watching them flying, dude. It was just like, what is this? It was just like, what is this? And like, yeah, anyways, it's just like, this they showed me one of their favorite pictures, and it explained it to me. And it was a picture of a brightest, biggest singular orb that was captured in a photograph that was taken by an intuitive woman sitting in the crowd at her daughter's school when they were having a funeral for the little girl who had died. And somebody was on stage, her friends were on stage speaking, and they just were like, I'm gonna take a picture. And they took a picture, and there's this biggest, brightest orb right by her friends, dude. And it's just like, that's spirit. That's soul. That's a little flame guy from Howl's Moving Castle. And that's real. And I know that. So I have more than faith. It's the integration of everything that I've seen and experienced through doing those makes me know there's more. And so I have a lot to say, but I'm a trans woman, and I also know that I'm a woman from my body, from my DNA. It's not my trauma. I was thinking it was my trauma for a while, but I was getting underneath that trauma. That trauma has to do with disruptions of my true spirit, dude. I talk about it being DNA, but I believe in science and mysticism coming together and finding that path and walking hand in hand of darkness and light. There's balance to be had, and that's what I'm about, is finding balance. And when I find balance within myself, I am a woman. And when I embody that and own that, it becomes extra challenging because I have no problem speaking about how I am a mother. My family just gets triggered. They can't hear what's going on with me from the root because they can't address their own trans misogyny. And there's a lot of people that have subtle trans misogyny that gets extra triggered by me. And spiritual communities, new age communities, that take what I saw and then start telling you about the Galactic Council and the Akashic Records. They sometimes say things that are most truthful and divine in terms of like, hey, if I ignore all of that, there's something really powerful in that. I once made the mistake of subscribing to Gaia. There's a lot of cool yoga stuff on there, and I learned about there, like, some of the interview shows that actually talk to like yogis and stuff are really cool. And there's a really, really cool, I loved one of the yoga instructors so much. I forget his name, but he's like a corporate yoga instructor who just kills it from his heart. It's beautiful. Makes music and stuff. I love that guy. I gotta figure out what his name is. But anyways, there's the craziest channeler in the world, and his name's Matthias something, and it's the most mind-boggling horseshit ever. But if you listen to it and you ignore everything, then you're just like, I cannot keep up with your theory, dude. There's something that comes through, and that's shamanism. That's creative storytelling. And so I'm in a middle place of like science is not really adaptable to some mystic person that's telling them that they're speaking from body intelligence and that she has more truth than they do regarding many things. And politics and sociology, and especially psychiatry. That's the bane of my existence, dude. I'm going to change psychiatry outright because it's broken. It's a product of big pharma, and we're all owned, dude. We're owned. We're owned by oil companies. We're owned by banks more than all, but we're owned by those fucking pill makers, dude. And we all know it, and then people project it at trans women most, and it's like, dude, I need my hormone medicine. That's the one thing I cannot live without. And I'm on the brink of not having it because nobody can help me. Because why? I don't know. And there's still a monster out there just sitting there who could help me most, and they know it. And they know I'm not lying. I don't give a shit. There's a lot of those. And then there's a lot of cool people who've been watching who haven't known what to believe because there's a lot of misinformation out there. But if I get help, I'm okay. If I have good food, I'm even better. If I get to live in this place and build a garden outside in the spring, I'm in heaven. If I get to keep my PlayStation and enjoy it, PlayStation 3, dude, I'm in heaven. If I'm in heaven, the things I write aren't terrifying, they're just beautiful. But my writing is executive dysfunction, and my executive dysfunction is the wickedest. And it's literally hunger striking me for a human being to come give me a hug who is unpaid. Because I've been abandoned as an abused person who has walked into one stigma after the other. Firstly, a trans woman claiming their abuse after being a trans woman. Next, someone claiming their disability. Next, someone claiming schizophrenia, that they weren't able to get diagnosed because of cruel circumstances of the system itself, and the fact that they are right, that they have to be careful working within psychology because it doesn't take care of the schizophrenic mind. And I'm a mother. I'm a best mom. And that's another layer. And I'm the Milky Way. That's my soul. And I need help. The world needs to understand you can't just kill an angel because they don't work in capitalism, because they did what everybody wants to do after becoming schizophrenic because they had to. Because that's how you heal yourself as a schizophrenic. You get right with your subconscious, and then you become what you really are, a whole person. I am disabled, but I am no longer retarded by this culture that teaches us of negative worth and prescription to ideals that have been bought by evil, and projection at those that step out of line with evil, and callousness towards our most vulnerable class, trans women. It's isolation. It's the lack of family. No other class is more isolated into solitary lives. Families, friends, lovers, hardest thing you'll ever come by. Jobs, don't even think about it. But hey, guess what? If you can survive, we'll let you take those hormones, and then when you're in your middle of your transition and you are basically a teenager again, we'll all just rape you to death and then blame you for it because you want to kill yourself, because you feel like you just got the chance to be yourself finally, and then the world killed you for it. Well, guess what? I'm not dying because I'm a badass. Who else is a badass? Who else can stop being a capitalist whore, slug, bitch? Wake the fuck up.